If you look at the history of Jesus, it was hundreds of years later before he was recognized, and that's probably the same thing that's going to happen to Donald Trump.
When you see him, the presence that he has in the room, the way he kind of commands the crowd, and the way
I
that
think he's been picked by God, yes.
he wears lifts. He wears lifts in his shoes. He wears a lot of makeup. He wears a girdle to hold in, his belly. Is that something, God would do?
First off, if you knew anything about the apostles,
Yeah.
okay, they were pretty much all trash. All right? They all had their bad qualities. And even Jesus was dating a hooker. I'm going to leave it on that one.
As brutal as this video is, I'm sorry, there's nothing I love more than delusional fanatics who equate Donald Trump to Jesus Christ. Yes, it's dangerous, and yes, it does largely signal a growing shift in overt religious extremism, of course. But nothing lays bare the moral depravity and complete misunderstanding of religion, politics, and entertainment than statements like this. And of course, it's not just from random MAGAs on the street who think this way. The cries are also coming from inside the halls of Congress.
They don't want you to say certain things, but that's nothing new. Cancel culture has been around from the very beginning. So don't be intimidated when they want to cancel you. Cain canceled Abel. They tried to cancel Jesus, but you can't cancel God.
In these two videos, we can see how American politics is downstream from the larger population's cultural obsessions, in this case, with cancel culture. So many right-wing politicians use cancel culture as a way to distract constituents from material issues they could be dealing with as legislators. Number one, Cain didn't cancel Abel. He murdered him. If we're expanding on Boebert's logic here, that would mean that Boebert is literally equating cancel culture to murder. And I think we all can agree that murder is like a really, really, really big deal and a bad thing, and cancel culture, not so much. Or does MAGA world not even agree with that murder is bad anymore? And beyond that, Boebert is equating her suffering, and I can't use enough quotation marks here, suffering, with that of Abel, which is not how the Bible is supposed to be read and interpreted. We aren't just supposed to pick a random Bible hero and say, oh wow, that's insane, that's exactly how things are now. The Bible's an historic, poetic text that people who identify as Christians should revere and respect, not tarnish by saying stupid things like, oh, this hero is just like me. I do have to hand it to this guy though, because he really is hilarious, and I'm not sure if he even knows the huge Freudian slip he makes here. What he means to say is the apostles, like Donald Trump, looked and dressed like trash, which, okay, he might have a point. They didn't care about their appearance, that's not what matters, etc., etc. But he says they were trash and had bad qualities, which is explicitly not how the Bible represents the apostles, and not how any believing Christian would describe them. And about the Jesus dating a hooker thing, let's be very clear. There is no Christian denomination that acknowledges that Mary Magdalene and Jesus were romantically linked. From a historical perspective, the question is up for debate, as it is entirely literally possible. But this statement is basically straight up blasphemy according to all Christian doctrine. I mean, if anyone watching knows a branch of Christianity that legitimately espouses this, please let me know. I'd love to see it. All of this is just to say that the emergence of Christian nationalism is beyond pernicious in that it completely bends religious teaching to its own false, made-up narrative, and politicians weaponize that narrative to push a specific political agenda. This stuff may be funny, but beneath it is dangerous, and not something that we should ever turn a blind eye towards. Thanks so much for watching. You can follow me on all platforms at Caro Johnson 917.